There we go. Okay, hello and good night, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Gamers at Large podcast, episode 42. Yes, it has been that many. Before we get into the introductions, for those who have with me tonight, I'd just like to tell you guys that no, we're not going to be talking video games per se, even though we are the gamers at large. But yeah, you got to be fair though. This week was dead. There was nothing. Nothing happened. So we're waiting for all these great games like Bayonetta 2 and Smash, and for the Xbox side of things, Halo and so forth, Sunset Overdrive. But we're waiting. That's pretty much all we've been doing this week, waiting for news to happen, and nothing did. So instead, we're going to talk about movies. One in particular, Frozen, and we're going to pretty much rip it shred limb from limb, because there are three persons in here who absolutely despise that movie, and I'm not too sure about that fourth guy.
We shall see.
But we shall see. We shall see. But anyway, let's do these introductions before we get right into the main topic here. Red Fox, what's going on, man?
How's it going? It's me. I have nothing else clever to say because I'm still working on a catchphrase. So there.
And the one and only Mr. T.
Hey, fools, it's Mr. T. Let's get it in on this movie.
All right, and Games Rosa.
Hello, everybody. Games Rosa, Mega Gamer Man, whatever. This movie sucks. Let's get to it.
And you already know who I am, Nintendo the Zen Gamer. But let's talk some movies here. So Frozen, guys, Frozen. Let me get some general opinions and overall opinions on the movie. Bad, good, in between, don't care, indifference.
It should get launched into space.
Dang, that's harsh, dude.
Wow. But I agree. It is just bad. I don't like it. I'm sorry. I know where T stands with it. He doesn't like it either.
You don't like Let It Be?
Just let it go. Trust me.
Let it go.
No. I have to hear it like at least 3 or 4 times a week.
Yeah.
So that's why you hate it. Yeah, I know why you hate it.
No, that's not why I hate it. No. Oh no, that's not why I hate it. But we'll get into that. That helps me hate it more. But I already hated it, so I'm I'm coming from the standpoint
That's not helping the
already,
case.
and now I despise it.
So, a quick story from my half. How I ended up seeing this movie. I heard about it. I heard all the fanfare, all the accolades it was getting. I'm like, you know what? I really don't care to watch this movie. But when you have a woman in your life, who tends to like cutesy stuff like that, you kind of get forced in a situation where you have to. So one day I sit my ass down. I'm like, all right, let's watch a movie. I want to watch the new Born movie, but we didn't watch that. We watched Frozen instead, and that was a really bad mistake, ladies and gentlemen. Wow, that was horrible. It was just horrible. She's into it. She was completely into it that day. She was enthralled. She was there, and she was like emotionally attached to these characters, and she was, like in certain moments, she's like speaking to the TV, to the television, telling them like do this or do that. So she was totally invested. I'm sitting there like, seriously? I just couldn't believe it because the movie was just so bad to me. Pretty much because it has plot inconsistencies out the ass. And the characters aren't really not that compelling. But that's my opinion. So what do you guys think about the plot, the characters, like that?
Need I say more?
Who's gonna go first?
T, you go.
Okay. Yes. Topically, this film, you think it's okay, but it's so easy to start tearing apart once you start paying attention. Yes, the plot is a complete joke. And for me, I really get to tear into it because, like I said, I have to experience this movie at least 3 times a week because my children love it, my wife loves it, and it's on our DVR. And most days I come downstairs and it's playing, and I go back upstairs. Basically, I just don't understand the love and compassion for this film. Like you said, character-wise, there is basically one decent character, and that is the snowman Olaf.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. That's basically it. And he's not even the main character. So when a side character is basically running a show and keeping it somewhat compelling, you have a problem.
Yeah, huge one. You have a huge problem, but
And yeah, and I just want to say on the songs, you have 1.5 catchy songs in this whole film. For me, the main, I guess it's the main song, "Let It Go," I think it's called.
yeah.
That's the only song that makes it bearable for me because mainly because my 2-year-old, she loves the song, and when she sings it, she has like emotion on her face, and it's hilarious to see. She like squints, and she's like really like emoting when she's singing it, and to see a little 2-year-old do that is just hilarious. So that's the one redeeming quality for this film, for me anyway. But everything else is trash.
Yeah, pretty much. So, for our viewers now, you're probably sitting there listening. Maybe you like the show. I don't know. We say, look at these guys. They're tearing into this movie for absolutely no reason. No, we have a reason. Because people compared this to one of the greatest animated films of all time, The Lion King. Some have even gone so far as to say it's superior to it. And let me just say, no. There's nothing more I can say, but just no. One word. No. You cannot compare this to The Lion King. I'm sorry. It is not even in the same arena as that film. But let's go step by step throughout the movie Frozen, and let's point out the problems that we found with it, and basically get a discussion going within it. First up, I would like to bring up the beginning of the show, and how do I put it? The gratuitous amounts of singing. I know it's supposed to be a musical. I know, trust me. I'm a huge fan of The Sound of Music, don't get me wrong. I love musicals, but it needs to have pacing, and this show didn't have that. It started as like singing, 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 little dialogue here or there, singing, 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 and the songs weren't even all that interesting, really. I mean, you're going to sing a song like Games was saying where we were off air prior to going on air tonight. You're really going to sing a song about cutting ice? Is that your topic? Are you that bored with your life that you gotta go around singing about cutting ice?
It should have been a song about cutting cheese. So
that would have been more compelling.
That actually would have been more compelling. Oh my goodness! So it's crazy, man. And during the scene, while they're singing about cutting ice, one of the most ridiculous things about this movie takes place, and that's what's the kid's name? Sven? Is it Sven?
I think so.
Or is Sven the
so unmemorable. Yeah, I think that's his name.
Well, whichever, the prince-like character, the main male character for the show, he just wanders off. They just leave him. It's like, yo, you're somebody's kid. They just leave him. It's like we're too busy singing about cutting ice. You know, we have no we have no qualms about leaving a small child in the middle of a frozen tundra. That's normal. He just wanders off. Nobody notices him missing. They just whatever. It's like somebody's missing a kid, but to this tribe of Icemen, nothing's wrong with that. That was the first thing that struck me as really odd in that show, because small children are usually the first thing you look for when you're moving from location to location, especially if your life or your job or your occupation is as dangerous as ice cutting tends to be. So you would locate the kid before moving. You would ensure that you know where he is. Or better yet, you would keep him within, eyesight so that he doesn't wander off to begin with. It's crazy, but moving on. So anybody else, as we progress from this point, any other thing that, bothered you about the show moving forward?
I don't blame them for leaving that kid. He's a complete moron. But we'll get into that. We'll get into that, I'm sure.
So moving forward, let's see. What was the next scene in the show? I think they introduced the girls, right?
Yes, the girls. I think that was the news.
Yeah, they introduced the girls, Elsa and I just said I remember her. What's her face?
Yeah.
Elsa and what's the other freaking? I just said I would always remember these names, and now I can't remember the names.
Brunette-haired chick. I don't know.
Wow,
Yeah,
she's the main character. We can't remember her name. See, this is the point we're making here.
I mean, 16, 17, how many years it's been? 17 years on, decades plus, and we remember Mustafa. We remember Simba.
Yeah,
we remember
Simba,
Nala.
Mustafa,
Nala.
Eric,
Yep.
Nyala, Rafiki, the monkey.
I mean, come on. Timon and Pumbaa. I mean,
Timon and
Yep.
Pumbaa. Yeah. Heck,
Easy.
I even remember the characters from the Disney cartoon series.
Mm-hmm. Oh, this is so silly.
Of course,
Wait,
those were much better written than
no hell. Yes.
what's it called? Frozen.
Mm-hmm. So
They accomplished more
Can't
in 30
remember the
minutes.
name.
So what's her face? Brunette chick. They introduce her, and basically at this point, of course, you know, every typical Disney movie, everything's happy. You know, it's all sunshine and rainbows until something goes horribly wrong. And guess what? Something goes horribly wrong. Let you know that Elsa has magical powers in the form of ice control. The word control is loosely used there, and she strikes her sister with the ice. At this point in time, the parents carry both the kids off to the rock trolls. Yeah. Did they sing at that point? No, that's later on.
No.
That's later on. Yeah, that's later on. Yeah, there's a lot of singing, people, if you haven't seen the movie. But, you see, I'm not too sure how to explain this. When the rock troll chief, or whatever his title happened to have been, said, I can heal the head, but I can't heal the heart. Like, he specifically noted that if Elsa had struck what's-her-face in the heart, that it...
I gotta find her name. This is sad.
Yeah, it would be irreversible, and there would be nothing he could do. He'd have no power to help her, right? That is foreshadowing out the ass. At that point in time, as a viewer, there is no suspense anymore. You're like, she's gonna get hit in the heart, isn't she? It's like obvious.
Right. You know what's gonna happen.
You know it's gonna happen. Did he even try to
Anna.
hide
Her
it?
name's Anna.
Anna, there we go. So they're literally, at that point in time, to me personally, I don't know how you guys felt, but it felt as if the show itself, the writers, the scripters, the entire narration, everything about it, just had a lack of respect for the viewer. Like, do you honestly believe me to be this stupid? That I honestly can't see.
Yes, they do.
You're foreshadowing her being hit in the heart instead of the head. I mean, it's so thickly applied that you couldn't miss it.
Yep.
But that's my opinion. What do you about this part of the movie? You can go beyond, and let me know if you had any moments going forward in the movie that you had problems with. Games?
Bro, it's just like, okay. That's just basically like any movie that does that, you basically know what's going to happen. So, you know, he specifically brings it out of, you know, she gets shot in the heart. Well, she's gone. Well, guess what? Well, they just gave it away. So, you know, that's just the problem with that, is they basically give away the of what's going to happen and what basically the plot is. And also, you know, it's just what these parents do are kind of stupid, because it's like what you're gonna do is lock everything up, okay? Because the rock troll didn't mean go and lock your daughters up. You know, they didn't say that. They're just like, just be careful, and she has to learn how to control it. But apparently, locking her in a room controls it.
But hey, you know,
So,
it's completely feasible to have two children at the age of, I don't know, they look like they were under 10. If they were 10, well, great. But it is a completely feasible plan to separate your two children who've played with each other since they've known each other, and somehow maintain that separation for the rest of their lives. That's a completely great plan. That would work 100% of the time.
It's ridiculous. What is with the king and queen in these Disney movies? That was just as dumb as the king and queen in Tangled. Like, their daughter was 2 blocks down the street for 18 years, and it's like, what is going on with these people? Like, but I mean,
that's Frank.
Yeah. Go for it.
I was just gonna say, can we be frank? Almost all the parents in Disney movies are either absent, the children are orphans, or they're terrible parents, right? Like, that's one of the tropes of a Disney movie, is that the parents are always terrible. It's like, you know, this stuff wouldn't happen if these parents weren't terrible. You know what I mean?
It's not
like even back in the day.
Though you can't say Mufasa was terrible. Mufasa was a great parent.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I mean, none of that would have happened if he just killed his brother earlier on. Because you could look at Scar. It was pre-staged. The dude had a scar on his face, and he had that that evil on the film. It's like, if you just killed them, you'd be fine,
But
just
even so, killing your brother.
That's your brother,
Yeah,
It's a brother. Yeah, it's a task that's not easily performed.
Yeah, you don't just say, I'm going to kill my brother today. That's just not something you come to.
That brother had to die. It's sad that
he hadn't really done anything before he killed Mufasa.
Plotting. He had to. Now, I mean, here's the thing: the horrible implication of the Lion King is that it's basically Hamlet, sorta. This dude kills his brother, and then, I mean, how are you gonna? I mean, really, his father, and then you're gonna go with his mother too. Technically speaking, in Lion Society, all the females. I mean, that's some cold stuff.
It is.
Should have killed him.
Should have killed him. Which just goes to show you that movie had more respect for the viewer than you might be thinking, because some persons might say, all right, Frozen was, simple in terms of plot because, well, its intended audience were our young kids. Yeah, adults can enjoy it as well, like every other Disney movie, Pixar, whatever. But it is intended for kids, so it has to be simple. Lion King wasn't that simple because at that age that most persons saw it, you probably were not supposed to understand the implications of what Scar did. Yeah. So, the very fact that they included it, given that they knew its intended audience was kids anyway, shows some respect for the viewer. It's like, yeah, you know what? We know most of you are going to probably think about this in an intellectual fashion, so we're going to include it anyway. We're not going to simplify everything and dumb it down just because the intended audience are kids, because other people are going to watch this as well. The kids can't very well walk into the theater alone, can they? Parents have to be there, so we got to put something for them. So, that's part of what makes Lion King great. But coming back to Frozen, now we get to the point where, of course, like Red Fox just said, the parents are either absent, terrible, or just, just out of the scenario, and the latter was the case. Out of the scenario, they died. And I saw it coming a mile away. I was like, you know what? They gotta kill these parents. They gotta kill these parents, or these parents gotta go on some mission somewhere, which is what they had to do. I'm like, you know what? They're either not gonna come back or they're gonna die. This boat is gonna sink. As soon as I said that, the boat sunk. I'm like, okay. Okay. I could write this. I wouldn't write it because I think I'm a better writer, but whatever. Don't want to toot my own horn here, but so the parents are out of the way, and now we have two kids. One who, well, they erased Anna's memory, so she doesn't have memory of what happened. She doesn't have memory that the sister has powers, and we have Elsa who remembers the entire thing and is, she is so dedicated to the point where she wants to obey what the parents told her to do, where Anna is concerned, where her powers are concerned. And that is to maintain the separation, to stay in her room and never see her sister again for what seemed like, I want to say 16, maybe 15-ish years.
At least.
Because they were adults the next time they saw each other. Now, and you want to tell me that Elsa still loves her sister? You ain't seen your sister who living in the same damn castle. We're not talking about long-distance relationship.
Right. And all the best memories of them have been erased. Like all the fun stuff that she did with Elsa because of her powers, those ice slides and all that cool stuff that they did that she would be attached to her over, all that was erased. So what do they have?
It's crazy, man. Then comes one of the worst songs in this show, which is the "Wanna Build a Snowman" bullshit. Oh my god, I hate that song with so much passion. I do, because it's so simple, yet so annoying at the same time. You think it would be catchy, because usually simpler songs are catchier, right? But not this one. You remember it, but you don't want to. So I don't know, man. She's singing, and this is how they apply. I want to say time skip, but I know there's a better word for it. What is the word for it? Whatever. This is how they show the passage of time. She's getting older as she's singing this song. Apparently, she came to Elsa's door and sang this damn song every day. So I don't know what would have driven Elsa crazier than not seeing her sister, the knowledge of what she did, and maybe she might lose control of her powers and hurt her again, or hearing your damn sister come to your bedroom door every single day, what seemed like, and singing this song over and over. He's like, no, I don't want to build a goddamn snowman. I ain't seen you in 10 years. Leave me alone. I'm not.
Can you get a clue?
Can you get a clue? Seriously, that was the worst tools they could have used to show the passage of time and get us moving forward in this. They could have used anything else. They could have just used simple text. 20 years later, boom, I get the point. You don't have to. It's crazy.
Here's something that I've even thought about before. Yes, we understand that Elsa was isolated, but was Anna too? She ain't had no friends all this time. She didn't make any, female friends. I never seen it. They weren't in the movie. So
the thing is that they locked up the castle.
She does make her own friends, right?
Yeah, she does a little later on. But they locked up the castle. That was part of Elsa's command because she was the one who would be crowned, and after coronation day, she's the older sister. So by her command, and per the parents' orders back then, she locked up the castle. None of the persons in this kingdom had seen them in just as many years as they are trying to tell us past. So.
And the kingdom had no problem with that. They
had no problem with that. We haven't seen our region
about that.
I mean, our king and queen died, and we haven't seen the princesses in 15 years, but we're completely fine with that.
That's no problem. That's
no problem. That's cool. That is crazy. So, come coronation day, Elsa is about to be crowned, and finally people get to see her. So it's all excitement, a buzz, and Anna finally gets to leave the castle grounds because they open up the castle to the public. Now, I'm not too sure how she even knows how to interact with people anymore because you haven't spoken to anyone outside of that castle in years. So I'm not too sure how you know where anything is, but apparently you do because a lot could change in the time you spent locked up in there and disallowed to leave the grounds.
You know something, though? It's not just that. How come some other kingdom far away, man? Why not far, far away? Why couldn't they just come over here and take this place over? It's so easy just to take this land. Just to take this whole mass of land right there for your kingdom. So because these
are nowhere to be found. No one's leading anyone. This place, this is mind blowing. Here we have a country. Imagine a country because a king and a queen, prince, princess, whatever. They are essentially your prime ministers and your presidents. Imagine a country that goes 20 years approximately without any form of leadership, yet continues to run smoothly. I know it's a Disney movie, but come on.
Yep.
There was nobody no uncle, no cousin,
right.
Nobody was running the country in their stead. It just ran.
May I interject?
Yeah, what?
May I interject? I think you people, I think you're being a little, listen, it's a Disney movie.
No. We just told you they do that because we have evidence of other Disney movies that take a little bit further than that line in the script.
Yeah, but you have to. Okay, let me put it this way. Okay, companies change. They change. The people in charge change. Look, listen. Things change. Companies change. The way they present things, and I understand you're not happy with the way how they dumbed down a Disney movie because, and we know this was Disney's executives putting their hands in this because normally Pixar is very good at setting up presentment and inferring. They aren't dumb they don't dumb down stuff for the audience, right? Like you look at the visual cues in the film and you're like, this is horrifying. Like you watch the movie WALL-E and you think about it, it's like, my God, this is horrific. Or you watch Up. And in the first 10 minutes, it's some heavy shit.
Yeah.
So, you're seeing the same thing happen. They dumb down a movie for the audience. Basically, you could say, every movie is manufactured, but Frozen was specifically manufactured to cater to people who like that sweet, mushy, happy-go-lucky type stuff. Even though there are parts of it that have a little bit of drama and danger in it, that's basically what it is.
I'm sorry, but I don't accept that.
I can't go along with that. Man. Yeah, all right. I'll tell you what. The movie. It's not so much wrong with the production of it. Like the visuals are fine. The sound design. Well, I didn't say the songs. The sound design is funny.
But how it was done.
Right. But what we have a problem with is not so much the actual narrative. The execution, yeah. Not so much the actual narrative, but really just the poor as hell writing of the characters.
The execution.
We're not asking for Shakespeare here.
No.
But you want the normal quality. He muted himself. No, I'm guessing that you guys want the quality that you've become accustomed to from Disney and Pixar.
Yeah.
If I get what you're saying, like because Pixar is capable of it. We all do. We all saw WALL-E. We all saw.
I'm gonna say this. I don't know about you guys, but I don't know. But I felt like they just got some people off the streets. Okay. they just like, hey, you guys want to write a movie? You guys got good writing? Yeah, I can write a movie.
You want to write a movie?
No! Okay.
We're not asking for like Shakespeare. Like I said, we just want a competent narrative.
It's just the movie. Okay, yes, because we know that it doesn't compare to any of the movies in the past. It's just the fact of this was bad writing. This was really bad.
You guys sound like me. How I feel about Zack Snyder in Man of Steel.
Oh man, yeah. Yeah, I know with that movie.
That's how you feel about it. You guys are like,
I do too.
This movie.
It's a good movie,
hell
but
with this movie.
The writing sometimes, the set pieces is ridiculous. But coming back to Frozen, we get to where the entire show is set up. The rest of the show is set up, where pretty much Elsa meets this prince guy that she's never, not Elsa, Anna.
Prince guy.
Yeah.
Whatever his name is.
Hans, his name was Hans. Hans something from the Southern Isles. Hans from the Southern Isles.
Right, yes.
Hans.
She's never seen this person before. And, well, in typical...
She falls in love with him.
Yeah, in typical Disney movie fashion, fairy tale stuff, she falls in love with him. I didn't really have a problem with that, right? As stupid as it is. I didn't really have a problem with that. What I did have a problem with as a viewer, I'm not sure if you guys agree, is when we get back to the night of the ball, the coronation ball, where she tells Elsa that, yo, I just met Hans over here, and we're just after a song and dance. I think I know him enough. I'm going to marry him. Again, I'm not dogging the stupidity of that because it's a fairy tale movie. This is where things go all bad. This news that her sister is going to marry Hans over here shocks Elsa so much to the point where that, and only that, makes her lose control of her powers that she's had controlled seemingly, or contained at least, for over a decade. And with the knowledge of this, after a short action scene where she runs away, blah, 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 she freezes what seems like the entire country. Covers it in ice, because she loses control of her temper, and with her powers along with it. Covers the entire thing in ice, freezes lakes and bodies of water, creates frozen tundras everywhere, and she runs away up into the mountains. I'm not too sure if, maybe I'm analyzing this far too much, but that news was not nearly as mentally taxing or as traumatic as need be to cause the reaction that took place. That's like saying what? You have a son, your son fails a test, and you have some powers, and you lose control of your powers, which results in a nuclear explosion. That it doesn't compute. It doesn't.
Can I play devil's advocate here?
You think it would take something like maybe your parents dying. To cause you to.
Can I play devil's advocate here just for a second? You just said that she spent 10 years. Like, you see them at 5, and then their parents go out and they die, and she's locked away for a decade. Oh, maybe over a decade, a little bit. she hasn't really had human interaction.
No.
Even later on, when she makes some friends using her powers. I don't mean she actually met people. I mean she literally makes
them
magical people out of snow. Even when she does all of that, I mean, you have to realize something. She's had no social interaction. So, I mean, for someone who's been locked away for 10 years, even the smallest thing might be kind of,
I hear what you're saying, but
a major issue.
Doesn't necessarily equate losing your powers, losing control of your powers to that degree. I understand freezing the
I'm just
ballroom.
saying. I'm just playing devil's advocate. Like, here's the thing, okay? You guys really vehemently. This movie is, and you have circumstances that are exacerbating that particular your position on that. Like I'm guessing you didn't want to see it. You want to see the new Bourne movie. Me personally, I saw the new Bourne movie and I felt ripped off from watching that film because I could have watched something else.
Yeah, it wasn't actually that good. Yeah.
It wasn't that good.
Still better
the Frozen movie. Well, I mean, let me put it this way: that new Bourne movie's pretty bad. Frozen is at least watchable. Like, okay, if you want to watch a dumb animated film, because this year, I mean, really over this year and 2013 and 2014 haven't really been good years for animated films. How to Train Your Dragon, that was the DreamWorks film. First one was good. The sequel was
Yeah, well, no, I don't agree too much with that one. I actually like the sequel. I actually think
it was good. It just
I understand why you might like it as much, and I think I know where you're coming from with that. But we discuss it off air if necessary. But I actually like that show. I actually think it not as good as the first, of course, but it's not really.
I mean, for a sequel, it wasn't
bad.
Terrible.
Yeah.
It didn't veer. It wasn't as bad. Yeah, but Frozen. I mean, Frozen. Like I said, is it the worst Disney movie I've ever seen? No.
Yes.
Is it? Can you equate it to? No, it's not the worst because Disney will still be making movies. They could always do worse. Is it as good? Is it as good as the lineage of films that came before it? Even if you just look at Pixar's filmography and Disney's filmography itself. No, it's not. But is it the worst?
Nobody's saying that. We're just saying it's not as good as people is making it out to be.
No.
Yeah,
People, it is overhyped. It is overhyped. It's.
And I think you're trying to give it the narrative of, oh, I wanted to watch something else, and that's why I hate this movie.
No,
I watched
Frozen,
something else,
you could.
and then I watched this movie later, and it wasn't.
And it was terrible.
It's just like from coming out with a movie like Wreck-It Ralph, which was actually really good.
Brilliant.
The movie was great, but then you go to this, right? You have a movie that was good because it was meant to be good, and then you go down to a movie that's meant to be good, but
either way.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't even gotten to the characters.
They fumbled the
lack thereof.
Right?
We haven't gotten to the characters or the real plot inconsistencies. Yeah.
Frozen could have been a really good film. Okay, it could have been. It's kind of like watching a football game and someone took it down to the 1 yard line, and all someone had to do was just get it over. I mean, not 1 yard, just that last 1 yard to get into the end zone. All they had to do was just do a little bit of work, and they could have made a touchdown. And they couldn't get it. They couldn't get it done. It's like, because okay, you have Disney. Disney has a track record of having some good Disney films. Even their later ones arguably would be good. Their feature films, not the direct to DVD sequels that no one asked for. But that's another discussion. And then you have Pixar, which has done a pretty good job for like many years now. And you've got these two really good, this confluence of two really good, talented forces. You're like, well, there's no way this film could be that bad. But, I mean, for you guys, it's that bad. For me, I was like, it's middling fair. It's middle of the road. I'm not going to say it's the greatest Disney movie I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I mean, those direct DVD sequels.
Yeah, well, they're direct to DVD for a reason. I actually feel like this movie was supposed to be
It was supposed to be direct to DVD.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like they didn't know that this movie was going to be this successful. They lucked into this movie being this successful.
Yeah.
I feel like this is one of those throwaway movies that they say, all right, let's go ahead and trot it on out there. It's not going to cost us that much. Let's put it out there and see what happens.
Yeah.
And it blew up.
It resonated with a certain audience.
So
Right.
It resonated with a certain audience.
we get to this is what I've really been trying to work my way to. The moment where she decides, to forget about bleeding. What was the country's name? Something with an A. I can't even.
Again, another strike against this film. You don't remember the damn country? Another strike.
Yeah, but she runs up the mountain and she starts singing that song. Starts, getting used to her having her independence and freedom. This is where the "Let It Go" song comes in. The song that could arguably be the best song in the show, which really isn't any great accolade, but whatever. And she builds this castle out of snow and ice. And while that isn't all that bad, you also have to remember this is a huge plot inconsistency. This is a plot hole. You just heard some news that you lose control of your temper or whatever. You lost control of your powers, and without knowing it, without intending to, you froze your country. And now all of a sudden you have pinpoint precision control of your powers to build a castle with rooms and stairs and freaking furniture. I'm like, okay, all right. I was willing to accept that. That was within the realm of possibility because maybe she was just in a particularly good mood then. But here we get to the ridiculous part. You construct a dress out of ice, silky smooth and flowing. This is powers. I have never seen this before. Let me be clear, ladies and gentlemen. I have never seen this before. This is something new. I have watched so many movies and anime and media in general with persons who have the powers of ice, and none of them, far less psychologically traumatized persons with powers of ice, are capable of making flowing fabric made of the element that they have control over. And control there, again, a word being used loosely, because you just showed you do not have control of your powers. But that's not even the worst part. She doesn't have control of her powers, and this is the reason why she had to run from her responsibilities in the kingdom. And now, all of a sudden, you have such fine-tuned control to do all of this stuff, including creating life. This is what Red Fox was alluring to earlier, where she creates friends or, sentient beings who not only have who can not only move and they have their own thoughts and so forth. They also have dreams and ambitions. They have things that they want to be and do. Essentially, she's on that God level with power. She can create life. This is I'm not even sure if this has been done before in terms of powers and and fan culture or anything like that. I'm not even sure there's another character out there who has powers to control an element and can use that element to create sentient beings in the manner and to the extent that Elsa does. But that's fine. But don't try to get me to believe as a viewer that she lost control of her powers, which is why she ran away from the city so she doesn't hurt anyone because of her inability to control her powers. Yet 5 minutes later, she's doing things that only someone with mastery of her powers can achieve. That right there? That is ridiculous.
It's lazy as hell.
So basically, it's not the animation. It's not the.
No. The animation is fine.
It's not. You hate the lazy. You hate the lazy script writing.
Lazy writing.
The lazy, nonsensical plot holes. The dumbing down. How they treat the viewer like they're stupid.
Mm-hmm. It's like
essentially.
Really,
you don't like that.
Anyone? Yeah, we don't. We didn't. It looks to me as if they didn't expect anybody to sit and look at this movie from even a slightly analytical perspective and see those glaring holes in logic and common sense and general progression when the story is concerned.
Yeah.
You just told us one thing, and now you're displaying and showing us an entirely different point by having Elsa do something else. It's like, what am I supposed to believe on what's actually happening right here? Because as a viewer, I'm not entirely sure what you're trying to tell me.
And the laziness doesn't end with the plot or the story. Even the damn title is lazy and boring as hell. Frozen.
Frozen.
It was like they sat around and said, well, everything is frozen in this movie. Let's just call it Frozen.
So they use a verb past tense.
It just reeks of laziness, this entire production. As far as the story and characters go.
Yeah, I'm not expecting J.R.R. Tolkien level
Right.
writing here. No. We're not expecting Shakespeare. No, this is a Disney movie, people. But we expect some modicum, something, anything that could keep it interesting for someone who isn't just looking at the pretty fancy lights and nice princess characters, and that's enough to entertain them. But like I said before, Disney has reached levels before in terms of writing, right? Writing and general narrative, script writing, and the way they bring their characters to the viewer that this was just this wasn't even a step down, this was a fall down.
Like even movies like Cars, the Cars movies, and that's probably some of the weakest plots that they've had. That was more compelling than this movie to me. At least you had a main character that had a what's the word I'm looking for? That had a character. When the character changes over time, what did they call that?
Character development.
Yeah, he had character development.
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I gotta say the nay-no on that one. I'm sorry. No. Cars was one of the worst Pixar films I've ever seen.
And it's still better than Frozen.
That's
the point I'm making here. At least it had a
Cars was no.
It had a plot.
Cars was no.
It had a point.
But you see, you mightn't agree there, but I'm sure you can agree with this. You already agree with us with this, all right? And for anybody listening who may, not necessarily agree with what we're saying, and you don't have to, don't get me wrong, but you can compare Cars and Frozen. They're within the same territory.
Mm-hmm.
They're in that same level of atmosphere. But you can't do that for Lion King. You just can't. And that's the point we're trying to make here.
No. I mean, I'll agree. I'm going to agree with you on that one. Yes, Cars and Planes. No, Planes was actually.
Oh, God.
Cars, Planes, Cars, the sequel to Cars. These were some of the weakest Pixar films I have ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen a lot of Pixar films. Frozen, you have to put it in there with the weak. It's a weak Pixar film. And the sad thing is that it's getting put up there with, like, the greats. You know?
I mean, what I'm saying about Cars
and that's the affront.
It's a pretty bland film, but at least you still had a character with had character development, and the main character, you remember him. You had a side character in Mater that is pretty memorable. Pretty memorable character, and even as weak as that film was, this is weaker.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that Cars is a excellent film or anything. I'm just pointing out how much more weaker this film is. Even
so, guys, man, we haven't heard from you in a while. What did you think the next part? What did you think the next part of the summary? And bring us to our next from the castle point that I just left off on. Why don't you take it from there, Games? Find the problems that you had with it.
So, all right, from the castle point and forward, right?
Yeah.
The fact that she made even bigger life, and like out of nowhere saying that she still can't control her powers, and of course they after that whole little freaking number they had, which was stupid, but still, she created life. And then she basically made this huge snowman, which basically drove these people out, which was that blonde guy and the brunette. I can't remember the name. And Olaf. Anna and Olaf and that blonde guy. It basically, he's just like the big huge snowman is just like, get out, right? And then all of a sudden, who does something? To piss the snowman off. Forgot that part.
Can't remember who said it. I think Anna said something. And then the snowman, the giant one, he gets even more pissed and more determined in his job, his assignment of driving them off. Which actually, you see, there again, sentient life. this thing understood what she said and got pissed by it, which means that he has standards and values and things that he likes and doesn't like.
It's just a wonderful opportunity to pitch that to how bad this movie was for real. It has standards and values, something that the people who censored this film, who created this film, do not. Sorry.
Yeah, but let's skip forward a bit. We get to the point now where, and aside from Anna, she's supposed to be, at this point, the movie should have been over. It should have been credits, roll credits, but Dom walking home, because Anna, when she fell into that river, that frozen-ass freaking river, she fell into the water in the cold weather, I believe I remember that correctly, she should have died from hypothermia. The movie should have been over right there. Dead. That's it.
Yeah, she should have.
Dude,
She should have got. No. I'm sorry. You could be animated. You can be whatever. I'm sorry, but you
hypothermia.
You went into the freaking snow. Your clothes is all freaking gone. You went into frozen. You went into at least cold water. Then you walked, and then we did see her dress. Get all like. It got all frozen.
When the name of your movie is Frozen, and snowy tundras are pretty much your set pieces, and it's cold is pretty much the forever, the repeatedly enforced point. You can't have someone just immune to the cold just because it fits the plot or the lack of one.
So movie magic was. So you're immune to movie magic. It has to have some basis in logic.
But Elsa, not Elsa. Anna has no magic. So it needs to be explained. Why did she survive that? What was the reason? Does she have immunity to her sister's powers? Did something save her at that point in time? Is there a character you're gonna introduce later on that saved her in that river? I don't know what it is, but you gotta explain it. You can't just go unexplained. But be that as it may.
I think I have an explanation for it. Mm-hmm. It's through the mystical alchemy of a little-known cinematic ability called plot hole. Plot holes in a lot of films. I didn't think it would be in this one, but it is.
There's quite a few.
Yeah,
that's definitely a reason for. Look, in cinema, let me give you a filmmaker's perspective. We have this thing called verisimilitude, and if it's a long, ridiculous word, but if you look it up, verisimilitude basically means suspension of disbelief, and suspension of disbelief is fine in films as long as there is reason behind that suspension. It has to be held up, to some standard. You can't just throw stuff at the audience and expect them to go with it, like. People running around in the snow who had just been running around in the springtime and still act like they run around in the springtime. That's you can't just do that. Again, I have no choice but to make this point.
That's a bridge too far for you.
Yeah, she does get frozen, kinda, but she does. It has no negative effects on her. It is like she gets frozen, but really only for the sake of visually showing you she's frozen and for some comedic effect. When she gets to that little hut with the guy who was selling the snow equipment, but really that's really all it was for. It was comedic effect. It really didn't have any real implications on either the character or what she was trying to do. Which is, it's a Disney movie again. You gotta keep coming back to the fact that it is a kids' movie, but some sense is required. But anyway, moving forward.
Well, before you move forward, real quickly, you just said that. This is the thing. This is one of the things that could have made the film better. The fact that you had all this terrible stuff going on, and I want to throw Star Wars in here real quick. The thing about Star Wars, Phantom Menace especially, they were talking about all these horrible things that were happening because of the blockade. You remember that? The blockade, that all these terrible things that were happening in Naboo, but you never saw any of that stuff. You just were told that the people were starving and blah 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 blah. You never saw it. Here's a chance for you to really give the audience some make them feel for the characters. If they're going through this snow and you really see them dealing with it and feeling it, you would feel more for these characters. You'd see the kingdom itself really suffering from the snow. You never saw any of that. It was just like, okay, it's snowing outside. Nobody's really affected by it though. And
it was a missed chance.
They missed something. They missed it. It was a missed opportunity there.
It was a missed opportunity by the movie to actually have you really emotionally invested in what was going on.
Exactly.
and that didn't happen. You were so. You were just. It was just so easy to detach yourself from the experience. You see, that's the problem with this movie.
I was totally detached.
I hit it. You were so detached from the movie because of the ridiculousness you were seeing that you didn't get the time necessary to really experience it the way they had intended you should. You were always criticizing and analyzing because you were left too free. You were left too open because nothing kept your attention for too long where the narrative is concerned. So you were always criticizing. You were always looking for the flaw because you knew the next one was coming. So that's really what it is. It was just this long chain of just waiting for the next slip up, and unfortunately you got them en masse. But moving forward, let's see. We get to the point where the people in the cities, they decided they needed to go look for Elsa or to kill her. In the case of one of the characters, what was his name? Weaselton? Weasel? I want to say Weaselton. Yeah.
It was Weaselton, and the joke it was Weaselton. That was the joke.
Yeah,
that was pretty pathetic.
So they send people up there, right? Well, from Weaselton's point, they send them up there to kill Elsa, so that hopefully upon her death, the Ice Age, the imposed Ice Age, would be reversed, and they would get back to the country and all of that. It would be all summer. They would be happy. That was their solution. So they send these guys up. Then eventually Anna gets there first. She tries to convince her, and this is where the nonsense at the beginning of the show happens. When I saw it coming. She gets hit in the heart, in the heart. I'm like, yeah, we saw this coming. You foreshadowed this miles away. It was so thickly applied. You could see it. So I knew it was going to happen in this conversation, but it did. But that's not the point that I have a real problem with, because I already talked about that. What I have a true problem with is the people that the two men that Weaselton sends up there to kill Elsa, to remove the curse of the winter. They trap her in a room, I believe in one of the towers of the castle that she built out of ice, while she's still wearing that dress made out of ice, after she created all the sentient beings out of ice. And these two normal, completely vanilla dudes are completely trapping Elsa, and she's having trouble taking care of them. I'm like, are you serious? You are a god, and you can't. You literally created life. I can't just sit here and create life. I can't do that because I don't have powers, but you do. And these two completely vanilla soldiers are a complete match. All of a sudden, because the plot desires it to be the case, because
exactly the plot required it.
For no other reason did that happen outside of that. I'm like, really?
Completely bland. Did they even speak in the film? These two dudes, like.
Yeah, really generic lines like, yeah, we come to you, stuff like that, threatening lines.
I mean, you want to hate them, but you're so annoyed by her, and they don't really say much. You can't really even hate these guys.
In this film early.
Yeah, I can't believe I'm about to say it, but I was cheering the dudes on. I'm like, kill it.
It's like, dude, if I was in the position of the guys where, they had to kill her, dude, by the time, that my friend is trapped there, right? My partner here is trapped, and then all of a sudden, I have a projectile weapon that I can instantly kill, if I shoot in the right place.
Mm-hmm.
So, what you're gonna tell me is, while she was focusing on your friend there,
mm-hmm.
you did not even bother to take the shot.
That's
you're
right.
Just standing there, you're just like. What is this? Some Call of Duty freaking breathing? Like, no.
The worst part? She has love for her sister Anna, right? Yet still managed to hit Anna in the heart and knock her the hell out. These two strangers who are trying to kill her, she can't do it. She can't do it. I don't know what is holding her back. Just two freaking stalactites and whatever. Just straight ice spear to the heart, dead. That's all you had to do. Like, seriously, I think she was trying to blow one off the ledge. And I'm not sure she's
her argument with her sister drives her to use her powers more than some guys trying to kill her.
That's right.
It's a joke.
Your sister's getting married, you freeze the country. People are trying to kill you, and you can't kill them because that's completely impossible. And that doesn't have any emotional ramifications whatsoever. You're completely fine with people trying to kill you because that's cool.
You send a snowman that almost kills your sister.
You send a snowman that almost kills your sister, and she wasn't trying to kill you, but these guys are.
Oh my goodness! It hurts.
It does. I can't do this. But you see, that's the part of me we have this movie. It's just so bad. from, I don't know who did the script screenplay. I don't know who did it, but whoever did it should never do another Disney movie again. I love Disney movies, but this was just a real example of poor writing. But moving forward, let me see. What was the next point that was just completely stupid? Let's see. Well, we obviously know that the Prince guy, Hans of the Southern Islands, was the real villain. Spoiler alert. And I kind of saw that coming from a distance away. From the moment that he had certain lines of dialogue with Anna, I'm like, yeah, this guy, he's up to something more than just helping these people, and he's too willing to help. And what do you get out of it? It's kind of like my human nature came in. I know he's a Disney character. He could be completely pure, white as ice, no pun intended, although whatever. He could have been completely pure in his intentions, and because it's a show, it's a movie, it's fictional. But my human nature indicated to me that he wasn't, and I was right. He was up to something. He had to have something to gain from what he was doing, because no one is that charitable to complete strangers. This isn't even your kingdom. So even though
he had an agenda, you said?
Yeah, it was easy to see he had an agenda. Even though he quote unquote loved Anna, that wasn't enough for the level of care he was showing to these peasants, so to speak, from this foreign kingdom. So it was kind of fishy there. So I kind of saw it coming. But either way,
I didn't see that coming. I'm gonna say why, because the movie was so bland and, like I said, so uninspired at the point. I just thought this is part of the blandness and the uninspiredness of this movie. But I didn't see it coming. Like, I thought this is just part of the movie going through its motions.
So, in spite of itself, it actually managed to hide something from you.
Yes, it did. And that's not the only thing. We'll get into that. The last thing it hid from me, when we finish up. But yeah, that was one of the things it got me with, because I was so, uninspired.
No, but you can go ahead and take this last bit, man. You're gonna take this last bit. Bring up the point you're trying to bring up.
Oh well, this is at the very end of the film. If we want to jump there, I don't know if we want to. We can come back. But
okay, we can come back here.
Yeah. Well, okay.
I think, yeah.
Well, basically, the true love's, the act of true love surprised me, and it wasn't that I was surprised it was going to be the prince. He was obviously devious. I had started to figure it out by, the closer we got to that point, obviously, that it wasn't going to be a kiss from him. I thought maybe it was going to be a kiss from Sven, the guy we barely mentioned so far because he's so bland of a protagonist. But I thought it was going to be a kiss from him. Obviously Disney does that a lot. And again, this movie was so bland and uninspired that I thought that they would just go with that again. But the fact that they went, with the sister saving the other sister as an act of true love, it didn't work for me because I didn't know why she loved that damn girl. So that's why it surprised me, because I had no understanding of why she would love that girl. So
yeah, I definitely hear what you're saying, man. Definitely hear what you're saying. But now we get to what could be considered the final act of the show. Yeah, it is a final act. We have Elsa being captured, and she's imprisoned somewhere on the island, nation, whatever. She was somewhere in the castle, and we have the revelation that Hans is a complete total douchebag. And of course, he wants both sisters dead so that he can take over the kingdom, because he's like, how far down the line of succession he was in his own nation?
The 8th brother or something like that?
Yeah, the 8th brother. So he wasn't getting the throne anytime soon. So this was his plot to take over. And I must say, it has the workings of a really good subplot, but something just fell flat somewhere. But it does have the workings of a good subplot. It's like, yeah, this is how you build a character. This is pretty good. It's like that's actual motivation, which is what a lot of these characters lack. But anyway, so you see, this is that whole James Bondian vibe again. This stupid villain stuff. You want Anna out of the way. Anna was struck in the heart by ice, and she's eventually gonna die. Yeah, sure. You put the fire out so that she doesn't have anything to warm herself up. Sure, but forgive me if I'm mistaken for saying this, but why in God's name did you just kill her and be done with it? I don't know. I just really hate seeing villains like that. It's like, I'm gonna leave you here to die so that you can escape.
It's so stupid.
Because I just killed him, like, seriously, or at least make it look like you're about to kill him and you're interrupted by something more important than that, and make a statement like, I'll come back to you later. You're not going anywhere anyway, you know? You're weak. You can't go anywhere. But I'll come back to kill you later. I'm definitely going to come kill you myself. I'm not going to wait for you to die and escape in the meantime. No. I'm really tired of seeing that. But whatever. It's not this show's fault. That's just general. That happens all the time. Yeah.
You sound like Seth Green from Austin Powers. Mm-hmm. It's like, yeah, we could just shoot him. No, we can't. We have to leave him in this convoluted trap.
Yep.
No, really, we just take this gun. We'll do it together. We'll shoot him in the head and call it
exactly.
No, we can't do
that. It's exactly just like Austin Powers, man. It's exactly why can't we do that? You have Austin Powers right here. Just shoot him and kill him. You win. That's it. Dr. Evil wins the day. It's over. But you won't do that because you got to give the protagonist or important characters of interest time to retaliate and do something, which is exactly what happens here. I think the snowman finds her, and they have this little funny bit. I must say, this was pretty funny, where we find out that he's a snowman that loves summer. And coming back to what we said earlier, this snowman, what's his name? Olaf, is actually one of, if not the only, truly compelling character in this movie. You like him. He's charming. He has it. He has it. Whatever it is, but he has it. And you're completely enthralled with everything he says because you just can't believe that a character is so silly to not know he's made out of ice, love the summer, and somehow not understand the concept of heat. So it's just funny. It's just really funny. So he does that. He lights a fire for Anna, and you know, he's like, oh, so this is what heat's like. And I must say, I chuckled at that point. I chuckled, as T said earlier. He's responsible for quite a few guffaws as a viewer throughout the entire movie. But we have the escape of Elsa following this, and the whole searching around because the storm is going. You see, this is another thing. Did they explain why there was a storm at this given moment in time? Like complete blizzard? Did they? Because I can't seem to remember them providing a reason or saying explicitly why there was a blizzard at this given moment in time.
Plot hole.
Or plot support. Plot support. Well, poor plot support. Yeah, that's it. But anyway, there's a blizzard, and they can't find each other because that's what blizzards do. Then we get to the point where finally, and the timing of this is suspect as well, extremely suspect as well. We dropped Mr. T, he just came back in. Okay, yeah, very suspect as well. But the effects of Elsa striking Anna in the heart with the ice finally takes effect, and she's frozen. I can't believe how many times I have to say that word. But maybe it's part of I don't know what it is. But she gets completely frozen, and then comes the act of love that surprised T. And I must say, even though I did expect it to be the dumb prince substitute, Sven, it wasn't Sven, or if that's even his name. And it wasn't, truly, that trope where it's, love at first sight and, kiss from the handsome prince, and that's the act of true love. It was actually from the sister, so I agree with T on that one. So that could be labeled as a redeeming point for the movie. But we come to the end of the movie where all of the citizens in this country seemingly forget and forgive Elsa for freezing everything, for sending them through however long this movie took place, whether it was a matter of hours, days, or weeks. And what did they do in celebration? That both these princesses, both their regents, are now alive and well, and that the scheming scumbag prince, his schemes have been found out. He was sent back to his southern islands where he can forever not achieve his goal or ambitions of becoming true king over there. What did these people do to celebrate? Elsa freezes the courtyard and they ice skate. I'm like,
yep.
Everybody's okay with that. Because, the entire point of this movie wasn't ice or anything. That wasn't you guys' problem. You just came from an ice age that was forced upon you, and now you're celebrating by ice skating. I don't know. I wouldn't be fine with that.
Well, to be fair, this film is based off of the Hans Christian Andersen ice thing, and I mean he was Dutch, so I mean that's like a major pastime for them is ice skating. So I guess they were trying to keep that whole, hey, it's related to those book of stories that Hans Christian Andersen collected and told and all that junk, but whatever.
Yeah, but yeah, I get what you're saying. But it doesn't really serve the movie at all.
No, they just went through all of that. Oh, more ice.
More ice, and that's the way we're gonna celebrate. But anyway, games, man. We haven't heard from you a whole lot. Let us know your overall view of the movie. We've gone through some of the major pieces of it. So, what do you think overall?
Animation good.
What?
Animation good. Script sucks.
Animation good. Script sucks. Is that it?
And this better never happen again. Just saying, because it's like
you sound like
never
monster, dude.
It's just never. No, it's just the fact of never show me a good movie that you guys made, and then all of a sudden come out with this horrible piece of garbage that is made by you, the people who made good movies like Incredibles, freaking Up, for crying out loud, Wall-E, you guys, and Wreck-It Ralph, Finding Nemo. You guys basically made these things.
I'll include Monsters Inc. in that. Yeah,
Monsters Inc. I just watched it again. It was good because the thing is, it actually had a good, decent plot. It had a good villain because the thing is, it made sense. Here, it's like it's just like all getting zigged around. It's zigzag. That's what is going on. So that's why, honestly, I'm hoping this new Pixar movie that's coming out, the Big Hero 6, is gonna be good. Because the thing is,
that's good.
Yeah. So far, it's looking good. To me. It's like a superhero kind of thing. So
Nice.
I'm gonna give it a chance. I'm gonna go see it. I'm gonna give it a chance. So this one, hopefully, it's good, just like all the other past ones. It's just they should never write a movie about princesses.
Yeah, the princess thing is getting a bit tired. Even though that's pretty much Disney's thing. That's just stick.
Yeah.
But
it's like if you want to go with princesses, if you want, you can do this. I mean, freaking Disney owns you, but you can make it where, I don't know, remake some of the ones or in 3D or something like that, or do something where you can make a sequel to some of these things. I don't know, because you guys plenty have done that.
I would honestly, at this point in time, take a CG animated remake of Aladdin.
Aladdin, yeah, I definitely would.
I would do that. There's no problem with it for me. You can re-release it. You make buckets of money because everybody who saw it back then, you'll see it again.
And I know a certain person that is not here anymore, that played, of course, Genie, Robin Williams. I know he's not here, but they can just take the old recordings,
the audio, yeah,
do like that, yeah. So
yeah,
that way.
So I mean, our problem with Frozen isn't necessarily that it's the worst thing ever, even though it does come close, but as Red Fox brought up repeatedly, there could be worse in the future, and that scares the living shit out of me. I want to be completely honest with you, because I really hope this level of narrative and this level of movie in general, this experience, is never repeated, never duplicated, and they never go as far down as it did for Frozen. Even though it could happen, I hope it doesn't. So he says that it could be a reality, man. I'm not even saying it can't be, but it scares me that we could actually have worse than this movie.
Never say never, dude. Never say never.
Yeah, I'm not saying never.
Batman Forever came out, and we were like, it can't get worse. And then they made Batman and Robin, and we were like, no.
You see those movies?
So basically,
if you're talking Batman and Robin for DC fans and for moviegoers, those movies are the equivalent of the freaking CDI, the Philips CDI Zelda games. They don't exist.
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't exist.
Yeah.
Black it out.
Sadly, I actually played those games.
So just to close up here, let's change the tune a bit. We keep getting T and losing T, maybe some technical difficulties, so we keep seeing T jump in and out, guys.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. But just to close it off on a little bit of a positive note, since this has been a really critical review of the movie Frozen, which really and truly shouldn't have all the cultural, fanaticism that it has among certain circles. Everywhere you go, you see Frozen. You go on the internet, it's Frozen. This movie, that Frozen toys and Frozen sequels and plannings and Frozen and this. They have this movie on ABC called Once Upon a Time, and Elsa's in that. I'm like, oh my god. And this shit is like on the front page of IGN, so it's not like I'm going looking for the news. The news is coming looking for me. So this is how I know these things. But
And the thing is that's really funny because we were basically forced to look at this stuff because that's the news that we look at every day, which is game news, right?
Mhm.
And yet they put up this, so
Yeah.
it's like we can't escape it. It's everywhere.
But the fact I'm trying to say is that outside of its great reception, I don't understand how it has that level of great reception, but that's aside from the point, that's me and that's my opinion. It's everywhere. There's news about it everywhere, and I really don't understand why. But to end this conversation on a somewhat positive note, what I will ask my remaining panelists, because it seems like we permanently lost T now, to do here, including myself, is name 3. Because I think there's been enough for you to name 3 of your best Disney/Pixar movies and briefly explain why each one. So just to show that we're not hating or anything, we actually have favorites. We're not hating. So Games, you go first, man.
I would have to say now these are my 3 favorite Disney movies. Pixar's could be anything, right? All right, so my number 3 will be let me see. There's so many to choose from, man. I can't take it. I'm not gonna choose Lion King because that's like a dead-on favorite.
Yeah, that's an easy answer.
That's an easy answer. So I'm gonna leave that out. My third one would be actually Aladdin. I like Aladdin a lot. It was actually really good. I like the comedy aspect and I like everything about it. When I'm it was great to see when I was a kid. And my second one would have to be it's so hard, but I'm gonna go with my second one. Would be what the? All right, my second. I don't want Cheaper by the Dozen, but my second one would be I don't know. It's just so hard. Wreck-It Ralph, and my first one would be The Incredibles.
Oh yes, yes. Your choices are very similar to mine. Very, very similar to mine. My number 3, I'll have to go with Wreck-It Ralph there. It was just brilliant. It was, especially for a new show. It wasn't like it had something to build on outside of what it was. But self-contained Wreck-It Ralph alone, just looking at the show for what it was brilliant. I'm not saying that just because I'm a gamer, even though that does have something to do with it. However, everything in that show was perfect to me. It was pretty good. But when you compare it to the likes of Incredibles, which is my next choice, it's unfair. Because Incredibles was a masterpiece, masterclass stuff. And unfortunately, the voice actress for Elastigirl recently passed away, so I'm not too sure. I mean, yes, a person lost their lives, and I don't want to sound all mercenary, like all I care about is the movie, but I care about the movie, guys. I think all of us do. So her passing, I'm not too sure where that leaves the sequel, because we barely didn't even get a sequel, but now that they are producing one, unfortunately, this goes and happens, so I'm not sure where that leaves that, and I really do hope they find a way around it. But aside from that, my favorite, I'm going to have to give that to a real close tie between Aladdin and avoiding The Lion King. I'm going to have to give Mulan some props.
Mulan? I like it. That's my 4th.
Yeah. Give Mulan some props, because that show actually had some pretty adult themes. Watching that as a kid, I can't really expect to say that you understood everything that was going on, like every subtle point, the subtleties of the plot and narrative. To actually understand that, I don't think you could. Like a 5-year-old wouldn't understand that shit.
No, the first when I saw that movie the first time, I was just like, because I was like what, like 6, I guess, and I saw that movie for the first time. Like and I'm just like, oh look, okay, so it's just like I'm just thinking like, oh, so it's a woman going into a war, and yay, I didn't know back then.
You didn't understand why she had to do what she had to do.
Yeah.
Because it was these are things in society that a 5-year-old or thereabouts would not even understand. Like, why should a woman have to go through that to participate in the war? Why is she even want to participate in the war? It just flies way over your head. So that's why I said, even though your audience are kids, you can still, put something in there, something a little intellectually stimulating for persons who do understand, some of the more intricate affairs in the plot and narrative.
That's why they really add characters like, Mushu, because, he actually made me laugh the first time I saw it. It was actually really good. Man, Eddie Murphy did a good one. But it's just they actually hide these adult themes because if you look up the real stories for each and one of these Disney movies, like Cinderella and Beauty and the Beast, they're actually really darker. These are just like, let's say, rated PG versions. Like
That's
PG.
absolutely right. And bringing it back to gaming for a bit. As a Nintendo fan, guys, you guys watching, you're probably Nintendo fans as well. You have to understand that while Nintendo also presents itself like Disney, they're kind of like the Japanese Disney, and Disney is kind of, they're like equals in that sense. They all have these hidden dark elements to all of their productions. Something that you really need to either understand the subject matter to see, or you need to be have an appropriate understanding of the situation or society in general in order to understand what it is they're trying to hide from you as either the player or the viewer or whatever, right? But it's always there, it's always hidden, and it's really mentally stimulating. And that's part of why I love Nintendo. Because it isn't all kiddie stuff, if you want to use the term kiddie, and I use that term very loosely. But it's all very dark and very adult when you really choose to look deeper. And that's what Disney is known for. They have some shit in there that should never be included in the kids' movies. Or what should be, considered kids' movies. But they are. It's there. And with Nintendo, there are things that should never be included in what would be considered a game for kids. But it's there. And while a kid might understand it, adults playing it would, because they're like, wait, did they really just put that in there, or am I imagining it? Or is that just my dirty mind at work? I don't know. So that's the comparison that I want to put in there. That, yeah, you can have a movie intended for younger audiences, or a product intended for younger audiences, but still manage somehow to pull in an older audience, or someone who's older and more understanding of the ways of the world, and still have something for them too. So, aside from that, let's get T. You go, man. What's your top 3 Disney Pixar movies, and brief explanations as to why that's so?
Wow, top 3. I'm gonna pick Toy Story as one. But mainly because it was the one that got the ball rolling, and it was an excellent film. It's still to this day. And I'm not putting them in any order here. And were we excluding Lion King or something?
Yeah, we excluding Lion King. It's too easy. Yeah.
All right, that's too easy. Okay, so yeah, definitely. Boy.
Pretty tough, huh?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with WALL-E.
Okay, yeah.
And probably Up.
Up, yeah. Very, very complex character in Up, by the way.
Yes.
It's extremely complex.
It's like Up is a really, really dark story too. It has that mature, not really dark, just mature.
Oh no, it's pretty
no,
dark.
It's dark.
Main villain.
It's dark. Yeah.
Oh, dark.
The villain's dark.
Oh boy.
The old people, like, you're thinking it's old people fighting, but then you look at and that's the thing I really like about Pixar. So you look at the inference of what they're what they're implying. If you look at all the evidence they give you, that's unstated, and it's like, this dude's been killing people for years. This dude is crazy. He's completely off his rocker.
I mean, you never got that from the initial trailers. You just saw this old guy who kind of wanted to, be done with the world and get away from everybody, and that's all you really saw. You saw the little quirky dog with the human voice, and that's Disney right there.
Doug
brought you in. You thought that was it, but when you got in there, oh my goodness.
Yep. I must say,
Doug was
funny.
funny.
That movie, I completely underestimated that film. I completely underestimated what it was. I'm like, yo, is this really the same movie that I saw in those reviews? This is deep. This is dope, man. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Fox, man, and I really hope one of your top 3 isn't Frozen, but.
No, it's not gonna be Frozen. You look, rest assured. It's not even in my top 20 Disney movies. But my top 3, number 3, and I mean, even though these are my top 3, I'm not going to say any one is better than the other, because all of them could easily just be all ones. But number 3 is Up, just because, I mean, literally in the first 10 minutes, if you're an emotional person, you're almost in tears. You're seeing the heartbreak that these people have to suffer, and how it molds the character in the future. That was awesome. Number 2, since we can also talk about the animated ones, not just the CG Pixar computer-generated models. I'm going with Hercules because I like the gospel sounding music that the Muses sing for that film. And number 1 is actually I'm taking it way back. I actually really like Little Mermaid.
Oh, all right. Ariel for the win. Ariel.
Look, man, the singing crab did it for me.
Yeah, you
Under the sea.
Oh my God, I was just about to say it. Under the sea.
Under the sea. Yep.
Oh man, so I'm really surprised. Not that I'm really surprised, so to speak, but there are so many other movies. Like I said, there's a huge pool to pull from, but they're all, as Red Fox said, they're all really great. So even though we're criticizing Frozen, we're doing it for a reason because we've seen better and we want better going forward, right? We're fans of Disney. I think we can all say that. We just want better. It's kind of like Nintendo, as good as as known as they are, as renowned as they are, for great quality. If you just bring out this really shitty, crappy game, we're going to be pissed as hell. And we're going to be justified in being pissed as hell because we want better quality. We're accustomed to better quality, and we want that maintained. But this huge pool of Disney movies to pull from. Nobody mentioned Finding Nemo. That's pretty good. You know?
I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't like Finding Nemo.
Yeah, it didn't really do it for me either.
Really? Okay.
I didn't like it.
Really? I liked it. It was really nice.
No,
I like the whole
the reason I didn't like it.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Oh,
No,
okay.
no.
Somebody's got a delay.
All right. I really liked it for the fact that it like showed you. It kind of showed you like what you would think a fish's mentality would be. How they would actually act, how life there would be. Basically, it looks similar to ours a little bit, and it also showed that many fish just don't want to be in tanks. Because I know I have a pet fish, okay, and I think he's happy, but I know he really wants to be like swimming in a pond or something. But
for all you know, right now. He's hearing you saying this, and he's screaming at the top of his voice, "Let me go! Let me free!"
Yeah, he probably is. He probably is right now. But I really liked it too because not because of Nemo. He is actually kind of a prick. But I really liked it for at least what's his name again? The father.
Was it Caesar?
Caesar?
No.
I don't know.
That doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
I know he was a clownfish, but
clownfish. Yeah. All right, we're just gonna call him the clownfish.
Yeah.
The clownfish father, whatever. So.
On a completely different note, I just want to quickly jump in and congratulate Peyton Manning for being the all-time passing record touchdown leader. Just real quick. All right, we can go back. That's my boy Peyton doing his thing. All right, go.
There's movies, games. There's no sports.
There's a little football in there. A little football in there for y'all.
That was good. Congratulations, I guess. I really don't care. But
not a football fan. Okay.
I mean, to everybody out there that liked it, congrats. Yeah, so and also it was kind of a sad story because it was you had a fish and two fishes. Of course they were a couple. They had they're laying eggs, and then all of a sudden they all get eaten except for one, of course. But they just all get eaten, and then you got one that got cracked, and that's how Nemo has the little what do you call it, disabled fin. So that's why he has that, because something happened where the egg got damaged. So it was a really sad story, and I understand why he went all the way to find his son, because that's his only one, and he has no one else. He lost his mate. He lost because I really can't say wife and everything because it's just like they're fish. But the thing, I'm sorry, Just I have to say that to him. But you know, it's just I just find it really like it was a really good story. It was really nice. Nemo did act like a prick. I'm gonna admit that. And but you know, I just like it because he had a reason to really go all out because you know he had no one left.
Yeah,
right? And basically he had to find his only son because that's all he has left. Of course, now he has like Dorothy and whatever.
Oh, that by the way, you might like the father, and yeah, he's cool and everything. And there are plenty of compelling characters in that film, but Dory is where it's at. People hate her because
I'm sorry.
No, I like her.
But I like her.
Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming.
Mhm.
Just keep swimming. swimming.
She's such a freaking airhead. I love her.
Oh no, she was awesome. I like. That's one of the things I really liked about that movie.
Mm-hmm.
It was really good.
All right. So I think it was Red Fox who was going to explain why he didn't like the show. So go for it.
Yeah, the reason I didn't like Finding Nemo was just because, you know, there's always going to be a movie, Pixar movies that just don't resonate with you. Like, for example, I was like a little kid when Toy Story came out, and it was really big because I went to after-school care, and they showed it all the time. And basically, I liked a lot of the characters in Toy Story, but I hated Buzz Lightyear. I hated Buzz Lightyear so much. I just wish Woody had actually killed him. And that's how I feel about certain. Like, I couldn't get into Finding Nemo because like I like watching nature pictures, and I'm like, this makes no sense. I mean, you do realize that like clownfish changed gender, so his father would have become his mother, which is kind of creepy. But yeah. I mean, that's not appropriate. That's not age appropriate for a Disney film. But my point is that they. I mean, it's just they're like, oh well, we can't talk about that because it's too. You know, it's just a little too happy-go-lucky in the whole like, well, how are they going to get back? Some of the jokes they had in the film were pretty nice though. Like the whole, you know, the pelican. I didn't. Who farted? It wasn't me. Yeah, whatever. That was kind of funny, but I mean.
Yeah, we get what you're saying. It's totally understandable from that view. It's kind of like how we dislike and completely despise, you know, Frozen. So I get what you're saying, and I think just go back to your point, just to touch on that real quick about Buzz Lightyear. I think everybody kind of hated Buzz Lightyear at first. I think he was easily he was unlikable at first, yeah. But I think it's the first time I've ever heard anyone say Woody should have actually killed him. That's neat.
Yeah, I didn't like him at first, but but he grew on me. You know, it was just like he was annoying, and I think that was the point of him. But then he kind of grew on you, at least for me.
Yeah, I know he was.
No, the only reason I didn't like Buzz Lightyear was because like Woody was the stand-up guy. He was there helping the toys, protecting everyone, and then as soon as this new jerk comes, they're like, "Oh, he's so awesome! You're gonna abandon the dude who's been watching your guys behind all these years. You guys are not stand-up people."
Well, okay, but shouldn't you be mad at them and not Buzz Lightyear himself? It's not his fault that they turned on him. I mean, he was just being Buzz Lightyear.
No, he was just kind of. No, Buzz Lightyear was just kind of stupid too. I never really. He was just kind of, you know.
Well, I mean, that's
whole,
actually
like, it took a whole.
Yeah, I would actually say that's the mentality of all toys when they come out new, is when they think they're actually, you know, what they are, what they were created to be, right? I bet Woody had the same problem where, you know, he didn't even know that he was a toy, but he thought he was a cowboy. I think that's like every mentality for a toy.
Didn't
it could be
that chick that they would be introduced in the second one?
Yeah.
The female Woody. I forget her name.
Jane something.
Jane something.
I don't know.
Didn't she think she was a real cowgirl?
Yeah, she thought she was a real cowgirl or something like that.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, you might be right there. You might be right.
And like they also thought like because they had like a show and then you know they thought that those were their actual adventures and stuff, like those three. So, you know, it's just basically that's all toys mentalities in the story is where, you know, if they're created nice and fresh and new, then they're gonna have that mentality of, hey, I'm a cowboy, or you know, I'm a transformer, something like that. You know, you're gonna have freaking Optimus Prime be like, where's the Ultra Spark? Like something like that. You're gonna hear him say that. But you know, it's basically.
You know what? You just put a thought in my head. You know, freaking Optimus Prime and all the other Autobots just hanging out, you know, in a toy box somewhere. He's like, transform and roll out. You know, so it's like, dude, chill out with toys.
Yeah, I think it's a little different to, like, you know, dislike a character like Buzz Lightyear, and, you know, as far as not liking because he's annoying, he's a little bit cocky or whatever. I think because, you know, that's kind of the point of his character. That's not this. I feel like that's not the same level as disliking a character like Hans from Frozen. I think it's because he's just so bland and uninspiring. You dislike him. But you dislike Buzz for the reasons you kind of supposed to dislike him. So
it's just, you know, oh, sorry.
No, that's all I say.
Oh, dang! I hate when I call people, man. But the thing is,
I just did again.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay. The thing is, though, with Nightmare Before Christmas. But the thing is. You know, you got it where the first movie was basically the whole, like, you know, I think it showed of how when a new toy comes out, they think, you know, they are what they were made to be, right? Or what they're, you know, meant to be or something like that. So, you know, this whole movie was supposed to be like a transaction between, you know, the toy acting like, you know, its usual self, and then all of a sudden at the end knowing and finally having the knowledge that, hey, I'm just a piece of plastic, you know. So and all I'm meant for is just to be played with these human kids, which I'm pretty surprised how these toys haven't plotted how to destroy the world or something like this, okay, like how to take over.
Which reminds me of is it Toy Soldier?
Yeah, I think Toy Soldier. Yes,
Was it
yes,
Toy
Soldier.
Yeah,
Toy Soldier.
Yeah.
Small soldiers.
Small soldiers.
Small
That's
soldiers. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Toy Soldiers is the Sean Astin movie, college movie with the terrorists. But yeah, go ahead.
But yeah, I mean that's basically how it is, you know, where this first movie is just to show like how a toy acts throughout the beginning, and then, you know, transactions through like the whole movie, and then, you know, at the end we see him like finally take it and just understand that I'm a piece of plastic.
And,
so
you know, you actually made me think about something there. You actually made me think about something really funny. Just taking into consideration what you just said about toys straight out of the wrapping, thinking that they're real, what they really are, you know, thinking they are what they really are, what they're supposed to be pretending to be as toys. Can you imagine, you know, those little army men that you got when you were small? I want to assume you did have army men when you were small. Can you imagine what they were going through, thinking that they were actually army men, and then, you know, you go outside, you bury them, you set them on fire and shit. You think about what's going through their head. It's like, what's going on right now? Like, why am I on fire?
First of all, the examples you use, you must have been heck on toys, man.
I was a boy. Let's put it that way.
Oh yeah, I used to do that too.
I was a boy with a really, really great imagination. So if there's supposed to be an explosion, you goddamn sure there was an explosion.
Oh yeah, you know, that's how it is when you're a kid, man. You use your imagination. Like, I remember doing a lot of imagination, especially with Legos. Like, I would just like play with them and be like making a secret base, making a villain's base, and then I had like these little marbles that weren't like marbles, but they were like little crystal balls, and I put them in things, and I called them like the three sacred the three sacred energies of the universe. Like, I did all that kind of stuff, you know. I had a crazy imagination. It was just that's how toys are supposed to be, you know. When you pick it up, even if it's a toy from, you know, let's say again Transformers, right? You're not, you know, the kid's not really gonna use it from that series where, you know, it's gonna be like, all right, come on, Bumblebee. No. He's probably gonna be like, yeah, let's destroy the hideout of the alien menace because you were built by humans to destroy them. That's the kind of imagination.
They're
Yeah,
gonna
I mean,
make up
even
their
when
own
you,
thing. Yeah.
yeah, even when you were playing with toys as a kid, you had these really elaborate plots, So that's why we come to expect them as kids in our movies, because we come up with really cool deep plots for our little playtime. So.
Exactly.
But to bring it back to video games,
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
talk about the Army Men. Remember those Army Men games on the N64 and PlayStation?
Oh yeah.
So you got to do all that stuff
Those are fun.
without burning down the damn house or your backyard.
On a side note, I might sound like a real old guy complaining or crotchety shaking his fist out of the car window, but as we're going to talk of toys, does it seem to me that back in the day, they just, here's a toy. It's an Army Man. Do what you want with it. Whatever. That's not our concern. But now they actually have to explain to these kids how to use the toys. Like there's so much details. Like he can transform it like this, and he can do that. It's supposed to do that, and it's a Ninja Turtles with turtle action, and they can do that. I'm like, yo, I didn't need explanation. I made that shit up. It's like you gave me the toy, and I did it myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's just an observation. This is our observation that the difference in generation and what's required for us, what was required for us, which was nothing, and what's required now.
Imagination is definitely.
Well, remember when we had dangerous toys?
Oh, sorry.
Remember when we had dangerous toys?
Yeah, oh boy, dangerous toys. Yes. Yeah.
Like literally toys that you could. I mean, they could kill you. Like, and no one. And they were like, the warning. If they had a warning label, it was really small. We had games that, now it's like, that's bullying. But it wasn't bullying. It's like, if you played dodgeball, and even if you were kind of a big, chunky kid, you learned how to dodge that ball. You were a fast-moving, large, chunky kid.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, everyone's so afraid of hurting people's feelings now.
It's also
they feel much better next time.
Also PC, man, so politically correct. But yeah, we should probably wrap this up because we're over time. I'm only just looking at the time, and we're a good 15 minutes over time. So, ladies and gentlemen, you got a Frozen review / rant. You got talk about Disney movies, Disney's past and future, and the best in between. Hell, you even got talk about toys. That came out of nowhere. So you got a lot of stuff, and if you weren't here at the beginning, the reason we did this week is because, well, this was probably one of the most dry weeks in terms of news in the video game verse. We just had nothing to talk about. It's a calm before the storm. We're waiting for these games and news about these games, and in the meantime, we got nothing to talk about. Maybe Jamie Butterworth, who was supposed to host tonight, knew that and decided to settle me with it. Whatever.
But it's like, don't worry, guys. There's gonna be plenty to talk about next week because
so
we're
when
gonna
he
have
comes
Bayonetta.
back, he's gonna have topics out the ass, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So that's just about it. So I'd like to give my panelists time to do their sign-offs and direct you guys to anything you want to bring attention to, content in your channel, so forth, so forth. So Red Fox, you go first.
Yeah, I'm planning to do a podcast next week talking about, where are the big console JRPGs. So I'll be doing for lack of a better word, casting call to get people for that earlier this week. And, that's my big thing for next week, so, yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, and T, you got anything coming up you want the people to know about?
Yes, first I would like to say thank you for joining us for this episode of Disney Films in Inner Depth of Disney Films. But no, another great podcast, folks. Yes, I got some stuff coming on, but make sure you go ahead and check out that Wii U and Gamepad Advantage video if you haven't already. It's the latest video I have. I'm going to throw up something tonight, another eShop till you drop. And I got to get some reviews done because of my garbage AverMedia game capture device. I haven't been able to do more reviews that I want to, so I'm going to get into that pretty soon. And another throwback tea on the Sega Saturn pretty soon. So, yeah, that's what I got coming. So that's it.
All right, cool. And games.
All right. Well, hopefully you enjoyed this show, and yeah, I hate Frozen, man. I'm sorry. Anything you guys say, I don't care, man. But if you like it, that's your thing. But yeah. So hopefully you enjoyed it, and I got actually a new thing I'm doing where I'm gonna be showing off many people's artwork that if you don't have a Wii U or Nintendo account, you guys can't see this stuff. So I'm gonna be showing artwork from Art Academy that are posted on Miiverse every week, or every 2 weeks. I'm still deciding, but I'm gonna be doing that, and because there's amazing artwork that you have to see that's been drawn on this gamepad, which I'm really happy with. So that's basically something, and yeah, so expect a lot, and yeah. So like I always say, don't lose your way, don't be afraid, just game till the end. Peace.
All right. And as for me, over in the ZGZ, I recently uploaded the first episode, the premiere episode of Sunday Groove, which is a show to pretty much throw some more light on video game music. So if you love music in video games or in general as much as I do, take a look at that show, and I'm fairly sure you like what you see. If you do, please be sure to leave ratings depending on what you think about it, or comment, because I'm not too sure if it'll become a regular series. It really just depends on whether there is demand for it to continue. So if you like it and you want to see it continue, you like what you see in this premiere episode, be sure to let me know, or I won't know where to go from here. As for future content, I'm hoping next week to put up another Z's analysis, so look forward to that. As for the topic, I think I'm going to keep it a surprise for now. But I'm pretty sure you're going to either find it very funny and or edifying. But that's just about it. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls all around the world, thank you for watching. You're awesome in everything you do, and we love you. You already know who it is. Nintendo Gamer 101 King of Logic. And we will see you guys on the next podcast. Deuces.